Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Schoolboy here with another video coming at you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. So if you're new, make sure that you click that subscribe button, you like, you comment, and you push this video through the algorithm. That way I'm able to float around these YouTube streets and we're able to get those views. I am back today with another review, which is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13, episode 4, Hellevator. But before we go ahead and get started, I do have some business to attend to. And it is to let you guys know to make sure that y'all watch this Friday only on Chef Don Don's channel, Hotline Bling Chat Room, which is our virtual talk show discussing reality TV, fashions, and hot topics and more. It does feature fellow YouTubers Shayla Sett, myself, Chase, and Chef Don Don. We both executive produce this show. Y'all will not want to miss it. If y'all didn't see the first episode, please go over there, subscribe to Chef Don Don's channel, and click on that video and make sure y'all watch that first video. Our second episode is dropping this Friday, same time, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:15 Central. I know it's a little late, but y'all can always catch, the replay in the morning. Go ahead and play it back. If you haven't seen the first episode, get into that episode. The episode is super messy. It is super fun, and y'all don't want to miss what's going down over there. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a good time. I want y'all to go over there and watch it and get into it. So, and if you would like to follow me on social media, it is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, which is school_boy on Twitter, which I reside most of the time, 99.9% of the time, and or Instagram at school_boy_2021. Y'all can always donate to the channel as well via Cash App at schoolboy86 or at Venmo at schoolboy1986. And as always, anything that is spoken on my show is allegedly and in my own opinion. So, if you don't like what I'm saying, tough cookies is my opinion. As well as I want y'all to know as well, if you want to promote your business on School of Love, which is my upcoming reality TV web series dating show, or on Hotline Bling Chat Room, make sure y'all email us at admin@tcddproductions.com, and they will go ahead and get all that information out to you. So if you have a Black-owned business and you would like to go ahead and be a commercial featured in any of the episodes of either show, y'all can go ahead and get that in right there as well. And get that information. We will reach back out to you and get that information to you if necessary as well. So let's go ahead and get on into the episode. So the episode opens up with all of them getting glam done for the day, and they're getting dressed. Remember on the prior episode, Garcelle got up after talking to Dorit and continued on with, took a shower, got dressed. So this is after that whole back and forth exchange with her. So Dorit is on FaceTime with PK. He says to her that she says to him that her and Kyle are about to go have lunch. She tells PK about the Magic Mike show. It explains a little bit about Sutton getting upset, and PK says, him and Mauricio went out to dinner, and they flash to the dinner of him and PK explaining that they have issues in their marriage. And Mauricio said, well, he has no desire to fight. He's just going to let Kyle always be right. And Mauricio says, well, she can't be always right 24/7. But Mauricio says, if I don't want to fight, then she's going to be right. So Mauricio says, he says, after PK says she can't always be right, then they show Kyle talking to Mauricio, and he says, they had a good time at dinner. And he says, him and PK talked about Dorit, and, then she immediately asked if Portia get to school, and basically they hung up. It's almost as if they avoided he didn't want to bring up what was discussed, and she didn't want to ask no questions about it. So it was kind of like they both kind of let it ride and be what it was going to be, and they were both cool with it. And essentially, I think that's kind of where it is. They're at a crossroads roads where I'm not necessarily saying that they don't both have midlife crisis. He's doing him, she's on this clean, healthy living thing, and honestly, it just seems like they both got a different direction of what they want to do, and it's just simply not it for them. And it's just what it is. I think everybody hits a rough patch in their relationship and what they're doing, and I just think maybe this is a rough patch. Maybe they'll be able to work through it, but just Kyle's just doing her own thing, and that's how I look at it. A lot of people feel like there's some good Tony Award winning acting. I'm not sure exactly what it is, if it's acting, if it's telling the truth. I'm at this point, I don't know. So Crystal and Erica go to lunch. They bring up Sutton, and Erica says she's not stopping doing what she wants to appease Sutton's feelings. Like basically, I'm gonna do me. If Sutton feel whatever she gonna feel, then let that be the reason. Garcelle and Sutton go on a gondola ride together. Garcelle says that she needed to get that off her chest with the group, in regards to how she doesn't feel comfortable talking about her kids with them. And to be honest, like I said in my last review, she has a right to feel that way. Anybody trying to rush her to get over it really shouldn't even be doing that. And Dorit was a straight up Karen and made that all about her when it wasn't. And instead of really listening and taking it in and respecting Garcelle's opinion, you just went in and it made it about you. And that is what Dorit constantly does, which is make things about her. Garcelle says that she didn't like that the group didn't receive how she felt received, she didn't feel like they received her well and how she felt by Dorit and Kyle, and she's not sure how she will be when she actually sees them again. So the man on the gondola is like singing, and this is odd because they're trying to have this conversation, and he's singing in Italian really loud, and it's weird and funny at the same damn time. But it's like, man, shut the hell up, so we can get their conversation. Garcelle ends up stops talking because the singing was just kind of like overpowering any type of conversation that they were trying to have. They immediately then flash over to Kyle and Dorit having lunch, and Dorit brings up the conversation Garcelle tried to have with them. And of course, Dorit, again, make it all about you because you're just like the Karen and you cannot stop. Then Dorit brings up all of Kyle's life changes and this, do they stem from her issues with Kathy? And Kyle says maybe. And she also needs to be clear on her end about where she is coming from. Sutton's uh, Sutton says in her confessional, she just thinks she's having a midlife crisis. And to be honest, I think that it is a midlife crisis too. I think Lisa Rinna, with all of the things that happened in the prior season, like prying into the two sisters' relationship, only added more strain between Kyle and Kathy. It didn't make it any better. I think she completely made it worse. And at this point in time, because Kyle and Kathy are not speaking, the terms is really messed up. I think that it's just not going to work out at this point. I don't know what it's going to take for Kyle. I think Kyle just don't want to deal with it, and focusing on her makes not having to deal with Kathy a lot easier for her. And that's just my opinion. You could just totally avoid it and not really have to have that conversation. So Kyle says this is who she is right now. So everybody's gonna have to, get on the boat and deal with it, or don't be around her. And it's kind of like, I get that you want to set your boundaries and all that too, but also at the same time, unless Mauricio is going to make a life change with her, they're going to continue to bump heads. And then she's also not going to be able to deal with the rest of the group because she just kind of wants to avoid things, and it's better left unsaid for her. So they flash. Um, so they flash over. So they flash back to Crystal and Erica talking, and Crystal asks, does she miss her old life? And Erica says she does around Christmas time and the lights and the love, until when it came to the end, they fought a lot. And Erica says she knows her life will basically never be the same, and it's never ever going to go back to that cushy plush life that she kind of lived with Tom. Which I get it. I don't think Erica. I think Erica has come to the realization that it's not going to go back to Tom, and then she possibly could never meet someone else that will supply that lifestyle for her. So now it's like she got to figure out her own lifestyle and try to provide it for herself at her age. And I think that's the scariest part about Erica Jane. She depended so much on um her previous marriage and her life with Tom, and then now that it's to crap and he's up in the damn facility, it's a different feel now. She's not in that same space, and the reality is really kicked in for her that she may never ever get that life back again. And I think honestly she's finally come to terms with that. So they flash back over to Dorit and Kyle, and Dorit brings up that Marisa told PK that they're having a rough time, and Kyle says she doesn't care to go to his sales parties anymore because it's being social and drinking, and she's just not into that anymore. And again, when you are doing elevation and growth, and sometimes when you change, and if your partner's not changing with you and they're not doing a lifestyle change with you, it's not going to be the same for both sides. One person is going to be mad because the other person is not doing what the other person wants to do, and vice versa. So I think again, they're in that weird space of like, what are we doing? We have doing it, we not doing it. And for a lot of people, it's just kind of like, are y'all gonna keep playing or are y'all acting? Like, what's the tea? Because this is annoying and we don't really understand what the hell is going on. Three asks, do you think that your marriage will last going in two different directions? Kyle begins to cry, and Kyle says she's not happy. She's not happy currently, and Mauricio's basically focused on work. So you basically say two people roommate in and they live in two different lives, and wherever it is wherever it is gonna end. But also they're not really in a rush to try to change things either. And I think Mauricio basically probably just giving her space and thinking it'll come back around. But neither person is really being realistic about where they actually at. It's like avoiding the conversation without having the conversation. So we move back to the room with Sutton and Garcelle. They're talking about the gondola ride, and they're both getting glammed up for the night. And they talk about having lunch with her son Oliver, and they discuss him kissing Raquel on Vanderpump Rules. He says he didn't need to explain himself to anyone because he knew he was already separated with his wife. So why did he need to explain that to the general public? Which I can respect that. I mean, but at the same time, it's reality TV. People are going to ask you that question, Oliver, whether you really want to explain that or not. Folks are going to have their own opinions. Yes, you're separated, but you're not divorced. So unless you have an agreement with your wife that, hey, y'all both doing each other separately, and that's cool. I do know in California, I think it is. I think in California as well, law pertains that you have to be separated one whole legal year before the divorce proceedings can begin. So, I mean, I guess he said, bump it, live my best life. He says he didn't need to explain himself to anyone. Garcelle says she understands and supports her son, and then he was separated at the time. And I did see a stupid comment on Twitter that says, "Well, why are you not holding Garcelle should be holding her son accountable?" And it's like, for what? He's a grown man. He's not married to his wife. Well, he's still married to his wife legally, but they are separated. So really, she is supporting her son because that's her son, and she loves her son. And so the hell what y'all feel, but I thought that was a dumb comment because I mean, her son is an individual and he is a person, he's a human being. It is what he feels, and it's not really, she don't have to express to y'all or explain why she's supporting her son. When a parent loves you and supports you, they support you unconditionally. And I just felt like that was the dumbest comment that I had ever seen. So they flash to everyone getting dressed with their glam teams. Everyone's all up, throughout their suite getting dressed. They're talking about going to this cowboy place for country line dancing and drinks after they go to the restaurant. So everybody leaves out. They get to the first restaurant. Garcelle, of course, brings out a game, and then there's a question about monogamy, and Erica gives this long, drawn out, dumbass speech that nobody understands that makes no damn sense. And then Garcelle asks the group of the married women, is one episode of cheating enough for you to call it quits on the marriage? Kyle answers that she doesn't know. They flash back to the times when people kept asking her, did Mauricio cheat? And the multiple different times that has been asked because it's been placed out there on blogs and everything. And she says, and they ask her in a confessional, would she stay? And she's like, no, I wouldn't stay if that was the case. So basically trying to say he's never cheated, but if he did, I would have been ghost and been gone. That's not even even a further thought from my mind. So Garcelle talks about her ex-husband cheating and how she sent out the blast email about it. Dorit says she would basically Lorena Bobbitt PK and then run his pockets. And I'm like, you can't run his pockets from jail if you Lorena Bobbitt, you dummy. You might as well just run his pockets and not do bodily harm to the man. That was stupid to read. Yeah, I guess you didn't think that all the way through. So they ask, at what point does money not make you happy anymore? And Erica says she's never. She says never. She's now in a position she had to downsize, and she's not ashamed of that, but she does wish she had the money and did not have to worry about bills. She doesn't want to look at bills now, and now she has to, and she's on this budget and she's scared, and it's scary now being on her own. And they bring out, after that they bring out a cake for Crystal's birthday by the This Is It, the Michael Jackson Circle Soleil people. And the one thing I will say about Erica Jane is just now that you're realizing that you done got to a certain age, you can't gold dig no more. So your prospects of picking up old men at the nursing home is kind of ended for you. And so you know that you can't go back to that anymore, and you can't do those different things. So now, yeah, the reality has set in that you have to make your own way. You're not going to have the option of coming through with somebody else or getting on to somebody else or attaching yourself to somebody else. So that's really what that is. That's just reality setting in on your ass, Erica Jane, and sum it up like that. I'll just sum it up like that. So they show up at the cowboy bar, and country line dancing and everything is going on. We have a lot of those down here in Texas. So Kyle goes to ride the mechanical bull first, and then Sutton goes and rides the bull next. And then they move to them leaving Vegas and going back to Beverly Hills. So as they are leaving out of the hotel, the friends of Erica Jane that are in the Magic Mike show are in the elevator. And one of them is the creator director for the show. And she tells Sutton to apologize, right then and there to the guys that are in the elevator. And because she said the show was shitty. And Sutton was like, don't put words in my mouth because that's not even what I said. So Sutton says, that's not what I said. And the guys kind of looking at her like, what the hell is going on? And Sutton says, the spread eagle between the legs was a little bit too much for her. And the guy says, well, at the end, it comes more artful and it's more beautiful. But had, you kind of stayed around and gave it a little bit more of a chance, you would have saw that towards the end. And she says she knows she missed the good part, and she says she's sorry. Sutton confronts Erica and says, I never said that and don't put words in my mouth. But Erica says it was God that gave her the pass to confront Sutton. Which I call bullshit on Erica on that. If you wanted to call out Sutton, you wanted to call out Sutton because you wanted to call out Sutton. Don't put God in your mess in the fact that you just wanted to call out Sutton for your personal reasons because you were mad because your friends were offended and you felt like she ruined the night. Just own the fact that you just wanted to call out Sutton. Like, don't put that other stuff in it. That's what really pissed me off. So they all get in the van to go to the airport, and Sutton tells Erica that you purposely confronted me like that in front of the men. That was mean by you creating that, in which I thought it was very mean, and it was some mean girl shit that Erica did. So Erica says, well, you basically ruined it for everyone's time, and everyone was leaving out because of you. And Sutton says that's only became a big deal because everyone followed her out. Everyone could have stayed, but at the same time, I have to call bullshit on that, Sutton, because as a friend, if I saw my friend leaving out of something and something made them uncomfortable, I'm gonna go check on my friend. Friends are gonna do that. I get it that you weren't expecting everybody else to come out, but you could have expected people to come out and check on you. That is more so the human nature part of people, that they would come out and check on you. So Sutton says, Erica, you have been heated a lot of times. And Dorit says, Do you think you could have gone back in so Kyle and Garcelle could have seen the rest of the show? And Kyle blurts out, well, you seemed unhinged. That's why everybody went out to check on you. And Sutton says, don't do that. Like, don't sit up here and say that I am unhinged. Don't like make a bigger issue than what it really was. Sutton begins to cry and says she did feel bad about what happened and she is sorry. Plus, she felt like she was ganged up on, but this is what they always do. So Dorit questions if she really is sorry. And Sutton's like, what the hell you mean am I really sorry? I am sorry. Garcelle says she wishes Dorit went after her. And Dorit says, well, you should have gotten Sutton together. And this is what pissed me off about Dorit. Dorit, though Garcelle is her friend, Garcelle is not in control of Sutton's feelings. And that is not Garcelle's job to wrangle in Sutton because none of y'all have the emotional intelligence to be able to have a conversation and articulate your words without screaming and hollering and acting like a bunch of damn Karens. That is not Garcelle's job. That may be her best friend, but that's not her job to pull her back into the group. You guys should be able to get over there and talk to Sutton and stop being assholes and have a conversation. So Garcelle says she's not her therapist. She is her friend. Sutton says she's sorry and she's not going to keep talking about it. And Dorit continues to keep asking if Sutton is okay and did she get it out. And Sutton tells her basically like, silence is golden, meaning AKA Dorit, shut up. And I really wanted to say, Dorit, shut up too, because you don't know when to stop. You just continue to go, 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 go. And that's why people have a hard time dealing with Dorit, because Dorit is just, she is just that Karen just continues to come out of her. So they fly back to Beverly Hills and everybody's going back to their normal lives and schedules. And, you know, they're showing the flashbacks and all of that. Then we see Erica and Garcelle go out and they have lunch together and they talk about her roommating with Sutton and how she really didn't even get that much sleep. They talk about Dorit and Erica. Says, I've learned to speak Dorit, meaning I basically zone out when Dorit is talking and then I zone back in when I need to. I basically ignore her 99.9% of the time, then I come back in because I ain't got time for how Dorit does the stupidity. And if I was anybody, I would do Dorit the same way. I have people that I know personally that I do that same thing too. So Garcelle says she didn't feel heard by Dorit. And Erica says that she hopes Garcelle and Dorit can come to an agreement on things. And to me, honestly, I don't think that Garcelle and Dorit will come up to an understanding with things. I think Garcelle is just going to have to zone out Dorit and is going to have to ignore Dorit because Dorit is always going to pull that Karen shit and you ain't going to be able to win with that. So Garcelle brings up the disagreement with Erica and Sutton, and Erica feels like you came with singles, you knew what was going to happen, and she felt like Sutton hijacked the moment and made it about her and not agreeing with the show. And they were all supposed to get on stage, but it didn't go down like that because she made it about her. Garcelle in that moment kind of feels like, well, she takes up for Sutton a lot and she feels like she needs to let her fight her own battles. And I do agree with Garcelle in regards to Sutton. Yes, Sutton is going to have to learn how to deal with her own battles because a lot of times Sutton may or may not chime in for you like she should. And I think that y'all are going to have to learn how to deal with each other and fight these women solo as well as together. It is not a problem for sticking up for your friend, but sometimes you do have to let it ride at times. So we're at the last scene of the episode, and Kyle meets up with Sutton at her house to talk. And Sutton says she wants a cocktail, and Avi brings Kyle her tea and Sutton's cocktail. And Sutton feels like Erica intentionally embarrassed her at the elevator doors, and Sutton is doing all the dramatics of Erica Jane, and then Kyle is just like breaks in and starts to interrupt her, and Sutton says, "Let me finish," which I already knew when she started to break in on Sutton that she was not. Kyle and Sutton have a love-hate relationship, and it's more hate than love. And I feel at this point, Kyle punishes Sutton for being cool with Kathy, and Kyle is on the outs with Kathy, and that is my opinion. So anytime that Sutton and Kyle have a disagreement, it's gonna be 20 on 10 because of that reasoning, in my opinion. So Sutton says she realized that Kyle is never going to have her back. And Sutton says to her, defend your friend, meaning defend Erica, because I know that's what you finna do. And Kyle says because she can see the other perspectives, she says she saw her friend in distress and being upset. Kyle says Sutton has a habit of losing her shit in ridiculous circumstances, and Sutton is screaming, name them. Like she's constantly keeps saying, name them, name them, name them. And Kyle's screaming back, let me talk. And then Sutton calmly keeps saying, name them, name them, name them, name them. And then you got Kyle ask, is she okay? And then Kyle says, you're being rude. And they flash all the times that Sutton has had a blow up. And the episode basically ends right there. In my opinion, on that last scene, like I said, I don't believe Sutton and Kyle will ever be able to be on decent terms because Sutton is cool with Kathy, and Kyle is right now on the outs with her own sister. And I think that's also a thorn in her side. But I also feel like this. Kyle allowed that shit happen, that fallout. She let Lisa Rinna come between her and her sister. And instead of her and her sister really being able to have a serious conversation, I think with everything else, Sutton is always her punching bag. And I think that Sutton is getting fed up with the bullshit. And that is why Sutton is pushing back, pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. So the episode ends and it says it's to be continued. We shall see what we see next week. I look for them to have a knockout, drag out argument and fight. And again, I do feel Sutton's frustration with Kyle because Kyle constantly beats up on Sutton, and I feel like it's unnecessary. And I feel like they all do it. But I do love the fact that Sutton is standing up for herself when it comes to Kyle because she should be allowed to voice her opinion without it being all of this malice and crazy. So that's all I got for my review for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We'll see what they're talking about next week. But do make sure y'all do not forget this week's episode 2 of Hotline Bling Chat Room, a virtual talk show discussing reality TV, fashion, and hot topics that will be on Chef Don Don's channel. That is always going to be on Chef Don Don's channel. So if y'all want to check out the panel and you want to check out the show, which is executive produced by me and Chef Don Don, y'all make sure y'all get over to his channel and support that. Again, second episode Friday, same time, 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central Standard Time. So make sure y'all get over there, subscribe to his channel, hit the notification bell button. So when the episode drops, y'all will be able to get that episode. And as always, keep in mind, at the top of 2024, we will be filming School of Love, which is a new web reality series featuring me. And it's also produced by Chef Don Don and myself. It is our first LGBTQ IA plus reality dating show. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. That will also be featuring on Chef Don Don's channel. And as always, if y'all would like to donate to the channel, y'all can always donate to the Cash App and the Venmo. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll check y'all out in the next video.